Hello. I can never get this screen right. This is why I need a wall of books. But 5 out of 5 stars. I felt anger, humiliation, sadness, and more anger. I'm gonna try to make this video quick because I'm ready to take a shower. Okay? So, another video with me in my gym clothes. So sorry, I'm very pressed for time, but we're gonna be doing a wrap up. So I'm gonna wrap up November and December because I know December's not over yet, but I'm done reading, okay? I'm not reading anything else for the rest of this year. Like, I see everybody trying to catch up on their Goodreads goals, and you know, I'm rooting for you, but I'm done. Like, I don't want to read anything else. I ended my reading year on a really high note, so I just want to leave it at that. I don't want anything else to mess up my reading year, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I have 5 books I need to talk about. One of them is from October that I completely forgot to talk about. And the other ones are from November and December, because December we cutting it short. Like, we not dragging it out. And hopefully the last book that I talk about, I don't talk about for too long because I love that book so much, but let's get into this wrap. Alright, so the first book that I'm going to talk about is There's Something About Sweetie, and this book follows the MC. Her name is Sweetie. She's in high school, and she's a fat girl, so we got Juicy Girl rep. Love that. And she's also a runner. She's really active. It kind of deals with like her hardships and like the issues she faces within her family and like the prejudices that she faces on a day-to-day life. And then also her love interest. His name is Ashish, and he is super popular, super rich, like the it boy. You know, he's like the typical it boy, but like he just went through a really serious breakup, and he's kind of like done trying to navigate his love life on his own. So he's asking his parents to hook him up. He's asking his parents to set him up on a date with a girl that they like, and they're in charge of his whole next dating situation because right now he's feeling very dead inside. So they meet, and it's pretty much like their love story and what goes on with them. This is the book that I read in October that I forgot to talk about. I don't know how or why, because I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. Yeah, I just really liked the MC. Like, I absolutely loved her. I wanted to buy this book, like the physical copy, but I actually listened to it on audiobook. But the audiobook is pretty good because she's super confident, and I don't know how she keeps her like confidence intact with like the things that she deals with on a constant day-to-day basis, like just between like her mother and just like friends and people that say side comments. It's constant, and she still has like this confidence and this aura about her where she keeps her head held high. And it's not like she does it because she wants to show them that it doesn't affect her. She's just like naturally like that. That's literally just how her whole personality is. She's like a really strong character. I could read like 3 more books with her in it. She's really creative. She's smart. Like, she's a runner. Can't relate. I hate running with everything in me. And she's just really assertive. Like, she's headstrong. And this author, I really like this author because she always has like female MCs that are really headstrong, and they just get their point across, and they stand for what they believe in. She had a really strong friendship group too, which I'm like a sucker for, like a girl friendship group. I really liked Ashish too. He was in When Dimple Met Rishi, which is his brother's book, the companion book, I guess. But he seemed really immature. Like, he was like on a basketball team or something, and he's like super jockey and rude, and I would just like, please get him out of here. Like, get him out of here ASAP. But in this book, you really got to see like his like soft side, because you got to see like him dealing with a heartbreak. And I really liked the way that this book handled like the breakup situation and like how he dealt with his ex and things that were going on. Sometimes it felt like they were older than they were, because I think they were in high school, but sometimes they felt like 20-year-olds. So yeah, I would have been fine with them being like in college or being like young adults or whatever, because it felt like they were at times, especially with the topics that were brought up. But the whole book was really cute, and like their dates were set up by their parents, which was just hilarious to begin with. It was really good. So the next book that I'm going to talk about is Shadow Fox, and this book, I think it has like a Japanese cultural setting, and it follows the MC, who is a kitsune, which means she's like half human, half fox, and her name is Yumiko, and she was raised by monks, but she's extremely mischievous. She's always in trouble. She's always getting yelled at. There was an attack on her city and she had to evacuate, and before she left, one of the monks that raised her gave her a scroll to protect, to keep the land at peace. She ran to the samurai whose name was Cage, and he's like on a mission trying to find the scroll that she already has, but she doesn't let him know that she has it. She just asked him to help lead her to the temple that she's supposed to put the scroll to keep it safe. Okay, so he was sent out by his leadership to compensate the scroll. He's actually a demon slayer. So this book, oh my god, I can't remember, but I think these are one of the books that I read that put me into a reading slump, because it was like, I started it in October and I was like, this is gonna be good, because I thought it was gonna be like a journey and like, you know, like super action packed or something. It was very, 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 very boring. Like, I struggle remembering their names. Nothing really happened either. Like, there were small bits of like battle action packed scenes, but for the most part, this whole book was like a traveling book. All they did was walk around the land and walk around the land and walk around the land. Okay, they had like maybe two battles, I guess, or something like that. I don't want to say I had high expectations for this book, but I thought it would have been more interesting than it was. The audiobook was okay, but I don't know. Sometimes when I don't really like the book, I wonder if it was the audiobook that I didn't like. But for the most part, this book was just really, really boring. It was like one of those books that was like a build up to the second book. I feel like the second book or like the third book probably would be better, but I didn't know it was a series. So I went into it thinking that it was gonna just wrap it up all within one book, and that is not what happened at all. So like, it had potential, but it just didn't deliver. I feel like through the whole book they were like leading up to the idea of like the two MCs falling in love, but like it was not believable. Like, there was no tension there. There was no like I didn't see it happening, and then like in the end when they were like risking it all for each other, I'm just like, what? And he was taught to just like kill things or whatever, and she was like really mischievous and fun and adventurous, and she's supposed to show him like a different light of the world. But I was so bored, I didn't even care. I feel like the second book probably would be better, but I don't want to commit to a second book. Yeah, that was the second book. I gave that book 3 stars, and we're gonna move right along. Okay, next book. So the next book that I'm gonna talk about is A River of Royal Blood, and this book was sent to me by publishers. And I feel like such a shitbag, because I wanted to like work with publishers so bad and get free books, and then it started happening and I was like, wait, like, it's too many books. I don't know how people get all these books and keep up with like reading them and reviewing them, because essentially they send you the books for free because like they want to hear your opinion of it. They want you to hype the book. They want you to talk about the book or say you hate the book or whatever. And I just was in a huge slump and I did not want to read fantasy, so I started this book like 3 times and I could not get into it. It wasn't the author's fault. It's just because like I really was not in the mood for fantasy and I didn't want to read it all. It was a rough patch, but we pushed through. We got the audiobook. I did the audiobook, I did the physical copy, back and forth. We got it done. I want to show you because the cover is really, really, really pretty. Wow, so nice. So this book follows the MC Eva, who is set in a queendom where she's going to eventually have to fight her sister Issa for the Ivory Throne. Like, we know this trope very well. The battle of the sisters, one of y'all gotta die. Her magic is very well known, but it is very forbidden. Like, nobody talks about it. Everybody's ashamed of it. She has blood and marrow magic, and because nobody ever talked to her about it or taught her how to use her magic, she's completely like sheltered within her magic abilities. And then you got her sister over here who was like full-fledged, 100% knows what she's doing with her powers. She gonna have to learn how to deal with her magic abilities, so she gets like a mentor, and it pretty much follows that journey. I thought it was good, but for the most part I really liked the MC because she was smart. Like, I feel like so many of the MCs, especially in the first books, they're so gullible. They're always in situations they should not be in, and then I'm just like reading it and I'm like, girl, what are you doing? But like, when I was reading this book and I was like, girl, what are you doing? She was thinking the same thing and she fixed that. Like, I didn't have to worry about her falling into any traps or any issues. Like, she had certain things happened to her within the book, but it wasn't her fault. Like, she was very smart. She questioned everything. She had like backup plans for stuff. So I really liked her because she was like not a gullible MC, and I love that. Like, I didn't have to wait for her intelligence to build up. She just was already right there with me. I was like, girl, this is just too coincidental, don't do it. And she was thinking the same thing. So like, we were seeing eye to eye. And then I liked that you could feel the hate between her and her sister, but it was also like you could still feel the fact that they love each other, which is sad. It's really sad because her sister is so powerful now. She's so focused on getting the throne that they can't be close like that anymore. But you could definitely feel the animosity between the two sisters, okay? I definitely loved the training in this book. Like, I don't know if that's considered a trope, but I like when characters learn about their like magical abilities or advance and level up. And all through this book, she was learning more about blood and marrow magic, which was like really awesome because it's actually a really complex, cool like magic ability, and like the more she learned about it, the cooler it was. So that's pretty exciting. And then the ending was just like, I love the ending. Like, when the book ends in a battle scene, you just gotta love it. And I feel like the next book is gonna be even better. For the most part, I love the book. I gave it 4 stars. Highly recommend it. This review is well overdue because I was supposed to review it before the book came out, but it came out like 2 months ago, so yeah. Okay, so the next book that I read in the month of December was Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which I already talked about in my previous video. If you haven't checked it out, I'll link it up here so you can click on it, and I'll put a timestamp so you know where to go to. I'm gonna just give a little rundown. Okay, so this book follows our MC Chloe, who had a near-death experience, and now she wants to live her life to the fullest. She has her bucket list in tow, and she has a superintendent who she hates, but he's kind of cute, and they have a little run-in where they decide to be friends, I guess, and they have like a business proposition where he helps her with her list, she helps him with something else, and that's how this whole thing starts. Man, this book was really hyped. Like, everybody was talking about this book, and I really think everybody was hyping this book just because the sex scenes were pretty good, but they weren't even like, I don't know, they weren't all that. They were alright. Like I said in my other video, which if you haven't seen, I'm gonna sum it up real quick. I felt like their romance was a fling. Like, it didn't feel like they were falling in love with each other. It felt like it was just like hit it, quit it, bye. But it was just like stretching out. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I've already talked about that book, and I don't want to make this video 6 hours long and be editing it forever. So if you want to see how I felt about that book, go to the other video. Okay, so for the most part, it was okay. I gave it 3.5 stars. Okay, so last book we're gonna talk about is oh my god, I've been waiting for this book for a year. This was one of my most anticipated reads of the whole year, and it was supposed to come out in October, but the publishing date got pushed back to December, so I've been struggling, waiting for this book to come out, and it finally came out in all its glory. Look at it. Absolute, oh my god. Let me grab it. Oh my god. If you've been sleeping under a rock and you don't know what this book is about, I can't talk about the second book without spoiling the first one. So this book is the second book to Children of Blood and Bone, which follows our MC Zealy, and she is set out on a mission to get peace within the land of Orisha, and she has Amari with her, who is the princess of the land, and there's new magical abilities, there's new things that's happening. I just can't talk about it because I'm going to spoil the book, but for the most part, it's like a follow-up of the first book, which is, God, I don't know how to sum it up without giving it away, but it pretty much follows Zealy, Amari, and the rest of the new characters, old characters, everybody in between, where they're trying to get just like come to an agreement of like peace. So like war and hate and anger between the people with magic abilities and the people that don't have magical abilities can just like live, coincide together, and just have peace. If you haven't read the second book yet, you can just leave right now because I'm gonna be talking about some stuff here, and I'm not gonna censor myself. I need to talk about this book because it was amazing. I still haven't written my review yet on Goodreads. Your girl's trying to catch up on them Goodreads reviews. I think I have like 66. It's so shameful to say, but I think I have like 66 reviews since the start of my Goodreads page that I need to catch up, and I want them done before the end of the year. So high expectations, love pressuring myself. All right, so this book was so good. Like, but oh man, it pissed me off because, like, okay, this is your last chance. If you haven't read the book, get your ass out of here. Don't watch the end of this video because I need to talk about this book. This book, I feel like everything that she did in this book was so perfectly done. Like, the pacing of this book, the way that the story opened up and like covered everything that happened in the first book, how she wrapped it all up where you got like the refresher of like everything happening, the pacing of the book, the chapters were short, like, oh, it was so good. But first of all, why is Anon still alive? Like, didn't he? I was so confused when his chapter came in. I was like, hold up, didn't he die in the last book? Like, we wanted him dead. He got stabbed. We thought that was the end. His ass is still alive. So instead of this book just being a nice, beautiful wrap-up of peace and harmony and joy within the land, it was like Battle of the Thrones. Everybody wanted to be in control. Everybody wanted to be the king or the queen or whatever. It was a mess. I felt, no, it was a mess, but it was like a good mess. So I felt like every main character in this book was either fighting for the throne or trying to get pushed to be the throne. Like, all the magic dwellers within the land wanted Zelie to be the queen of Orisha. And then you have Amari, who is obviously, she's royalty, so technically the throne is hers. And then Anon is still alive, so technically he's the one that's supposed to be. Their mother was like a raging lunatic in this book. She was so like, she was like bitter and mean in the first book, but she didn't really get that much like spotlight. But in this book, she was out of her mind. Like, she, first of all, because at the end of the second book, magic was given back to all of the magic dwellers, but when the magic came back, it came back hard. But they have power and they can take power from other people, and her mother is one of those people, and she just like sucking the power out of everybody and trying to kill. It was just a mess. Like, she wanted Anon to be on the throne, but really he should be dead. So I don't even know why we were even entertaining this idea. That was a mess. He was constantly going back and forth between whether he wanted to be a good king or kill everybody. It was just, he did stupid stuff too. The biggest thing about this, I'm just like rambling because I just finished this book, so I'm just like in a frenzy. Everybody in this book pissed me off, especially Amari. I was ready to like suplex, like, within the first like few chapters. Everything she did was so damn stupid. Like, everything she did was selfish. It was stupid. And I was just like, okay, I get that you're trying to prove yourself to everybody. You're trying to prove that you want peace and stuff, but like, you're tearing everything apart. Everyone's dying. What are you doing? Like, I just was like so angry at her because everything that she did was very selfish, and I'm so tired of like Zelie getting like shitty end of the stick where like people that are really close to her die. She's always in like the worst situation. She's always hurt the most. She's always in the most pain. Like, out of in both of the books, she's the character that's in the most pain, and it's so aggravating because she's obviously my favorite character. But like, I just want her to be on top. Like, I want her to just like get there and just like things to like work out for her. But I feel like every book she just like gets the shitty end of the stick. Honestly, just get rid of the royal people, because the mother is crazy, the father was crazy. Amari is like on the verge of insanity with half of the stuff that she did in this book. And Anon, he'd been on my shit list. He needs to go. Just kick the shit. Just go. Nobody wants you here. You guys are destroying everything. But the good stuff in the book was like the magic. I really liked the fact that there was so many different characters. Like, there were so many new characters in this book. It was insane because like all of the clans were together and they were fighting against pretty much the hierarchy of the royalty because they want to take over and they want to be in control of the lands. Now that the magic is back, they want to be in control. So that was the gist of this book. and all of the different magic abilities that were in this book was just like, I was just soaking it all up. It was so good. I was like angry for the most part of this book because Amari was pissing me off, and if Amari wasn't pissing me off, Anan was pissing me off, and I was just like, what is happening? Like, I just want my girl to win. Like, she needs to come out on top. Like, she just keeps getting shit on. I just feel so bad. These books always make me cry. I was crying. It was so sad. This book brought me through every emotion that I could possibly feel by reading a book. So you can obviously guess what my rating was. I gave it 5 stars. Obviously. Yeah. That's why I don't want to read any more books, because this book really just like set the tone, and I just want to leave it at that because this book just really did it for me. For the most part, it pissed me off, but so many things happen aside from anger, so I'm grateful for this book. And the ending, I was like, why? Like, and I have to wait, what, another like year and a half for the next book? This is the worst part about being up to date with books that are a series and are not already published, because I have to wait for all of them. And of course there's a cliffhanger at the end of this book. Oh wow, I didn't know there was a poster in the back of here. Oh, this is cool. Oh, that's dope. I can't really give my thoughts on this book because I just finished it, so I just feel like all of my thoughts are like all over the place. But 5 out of 5 stars. I felt anger, humiliation, sadness, and more anger. So yeah, can't wait for the next book. I'm super proud of her. I feel like her writing style is just getting better and better and better with every book, and I'm so glad that she took her time with this one and didn't push herself to get it out in October, because it was very well done. Very proud of her. That's it. If you read any of the books that I talk about, make sure you leave a comment below. If you don't know what to leave in my comment section, just put little hearts. Always put little hearts. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, blah 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 blah. I need to go take a shower. So thank you guys so much for watching. Always remember, read a book, keep your life interesting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.